So, welcome everybody to episode 5 of the Two Dimensional Champions Minisode series, which we haven't done in a long time, but we are doing now because it's good and we still have more shorts to go through.
And
So,
after a
today,
while, you can no longer access them. So we have a window
yeah,
of opportunity. We need to
which is
strike while the
really
iron's hot.
which is really hilarious for someone listening to this like 2 years from now because none of the links work and they can't watch the shorts. And this will just be meaningless. So this is a very live in the moment.
This is like the collector's edition of Two Dimensional Champions.
Yeah, if you listen to it while the Animator Expo shorts are actually going on, you're super cool. And
You're the coolest of cool.
yeah, the coolest of
Yeah.
cool. So today we're talking about the short entitled "The Ultraman," uh, and actually there's a subtitle to it like Ultraman Jackal versus Ultraman. But anyway, it's just the Ultraman. Um, And what's fun about this short is instead of being based on the live action series, it's actually based on a manga that was uh, drawn and written by Mamoru Uchiyama. And I think it ran in the 70s and 80s. I've never read it, so I really can't say much about it, but I know a lot of the Ultraman fans were super excited about this short because it
It,
sort of
it
follows.
seems like a sort of short that Ultraman fans would be really excited about.
Yeah, and I've seen a little bit of the franchise, but I'm not super. I haven't seen a lot of it. So like the battle that opens the short, I sort of remembered from the end of the first Ultraman series, but it wasn't in space, and it wasn't as cool looking as it was in the short. So, so that's about as far as my
Can
knowledge
you,
goes.
I
And I don't
mean,
even.
like, correct me if I'm wrong, because I watched this twice, but at the very beginning, it was like, in this year, everything was peaceful. And then it opens with a fight scene. Is that true?
Yeah,
Is that like how it
yeah,
happens?
yeah. Well, that battle that starts the short is the end of the first Ultraman series. So that's why I've never read the manga, and I feel like this is a 7 minute version of the like the biggest scenes from the manga, I guess. But I don't know how far it goes. I don't know if the manga series
So
has
you're
ever
saying the
covered.
end of the season starts with the main character losing a battle?
Well, he loses the last battle, and then the other Ultramen come in and save him and chastise him for losing the last battle and bring him back. And
Wow, it's
yeah,
like meta as fuck.
yeah. So where basically I've never read the manga, so I don't know if this story was in other Ultraman. I don't know if Jackal
Is it
was.
like a multiverse? Like, you know how, like, we have the DC and whatever multiverse, so there's like different worlds that have multiple Batmans and Flashes and stuff. Because I sort of
Yeah,
felt that way when I was watching this. It's like, well,
yeah,
everyone looks the same, but like that guy has a little more pointy ears, and that guy is like a little bit stronger looking. Or
yeah. So what I think happens is like the Ultramen all come from like different universes and or like one home world, and they can inhabit a person on Earth. So that's why they can change the main character and have a different Ultraman design. Is they but none of them ever really go away, so they can all guest star in each other's shows. And I think now the most recent series, there's all sorts of crossovers and bad guys who come back. It's kind of like uh, well, I don't want to say it's kind of like Doctor Who, but I mean, it just you can have many
it's kind of
iterations of
like
them.
any sort of like fantasy genre of this time.
Yeah, I mean, it started in the '60s. I should actually probably I should look that up before
All
I.
right, let's go with 60s. It sounds good to me.
We'll go with the '60s.
Maybe
And
even the
again,
30s.
no, definitely '60s. And the special effects were done by Eiji Surabaya, whose name I probably just butchered. And he's really big. He's kind of he did a lot of Godzilla movies. He did all the special effects in the original Godzilla movies, and basically, if there was a sci-fi like man in suit show running at that time in Japan or movie, it was probably him who did it. So he did a lot of work, and so Surabaya Productions is credited for the short. and all that. So yeah, I mean, I really liked it. I thought the short was really cool because even though I'm not familiar very well with the Ultraman franchise as a whole, and even less, I've never read any of the manga. So really, I had no idea. I can't really judge it on what the fuck was going on because I have no idea. And I admit I definitely cracked up when I saw the super bearded Ultraman at the very end, which I guess was Ultra Dad.
Maybe Ultra Dad. There's also an Ultra Woman. So this whole like
Yeah,
Ultraman thing.
Ultra Mom. Yeah, Ultra Mom, who I know has at least was at least part of a women's beauty campaign in Japan. I think this year or last year she was like in all these like makeup advertisements and stuff. So the Ultraman shit is big. I mean, it's like it's
It's
serious
so
shit.
big. So I feel
Oh, it's still big. Yeah,
like similar to when we watched that comedy, and I say comedy in quotations because we had no idea what the fuck was going on. I sort
yeah,
of felt the same way when I watched this. Like,
yeah.
I mean, like, I think you're really into like the old like Godzilla and that sort of themed stuff where things don't necessarily make sense, and you're like, fuck yeah, fighting robots or whatever. Maybe I don't know, but for
Yeah,
me, not so much.
yeah. I mean, I can. Um, I mean, I'm really big on the Godzilla franchise, so I know a fair amount about that. But so I liked how the animation really made it look like it was a live action TV show from the 60s and 70s.
Yeah,
And I mean, I think the animation was gorgeous because of that, because they used the same sound effects. They even altered the audio to make it sound like it was an old TV show.
and for me,
And
it's sort of like, why does it sound like it's so old? It's like if someone came up to you with a VHS and was like, "Hey, let's just watch this movie," or like sent you, you know, and then say I was like a lot younger, didn't even know what a VHS was, would be like, "What is even going on? What do you mean, like?" The quality of the film can deteriorate over time, and then there can be like random squiggly lines. And why would you want to watch this? Like that's sort of how I feel when I was watching Ultraman.
yeah, I'm sure it was a big shock to see the, I guess, drop in quality for you.
I mean, I pride myself on being an elitist douchebag when it comes to like anime and anime quality. So when I see this, I mean, and I'm ragging on it. I know it's important to a lot of people, and a lot of people like it. But for me, I was just like, what? And then God, I mean, or can we just like crack into it, or do you still want to get through some of the interest
Oh,
stuff?
let's crack into it. Yeah, I mean it's only 7 minutes long, so there's no.
So like the whole at the very beginning, it's like then there was peace and there was fighting. Like that. That's like that was for me was like when the what the fuck began. You know, like I even like read that and then saw them fighting, and I wrote in my notes like, what the fuck is going on right now? Like what? And then like then there's like you know just tons and tons of Ultramen, which was again another like weird. Seemed like an Ultraverse thing.
Yeah, and again, I don't. I'm just not familiar enough to really, explain what was going on. I don't have any idea what was going on. I just I have a very tangential knowledge of the series, and I know it's super important, and I know like Ano is a huge Ultraman nerd, like just a gigantic Ultraman nerd. Even so far to go as so I don't know if you remember this, but in he made the new Studio Kara, which does the shorts and the new Ava movies and all that. And at the beginning, the logo, at least before the Evangelion movies, there's a logo for Studio Kara, and the sound effect that plays when the logo appears is the sound effect used when Ultraman transforms in the original series.
So this is really important to some people.
So this is spiritual level
There
shit
will
to
there
some
will be
people.
like 5 years down the road, there will be some nerds that are still pissed off that I did not like this.
Yeah, well, someone will listen to this and be like, "Oh,
Never
what an
again.
egg!
Screw you,
Never
two
again."
dimensional
This,
champions.
yeah, fuck
Like
this
fuck you
show.
and your
Yeah,
opinions.
yeah, and I know actually now it used to be the really the reason why I'm very unfamiliar with Ultraman is because it was easier to get Godzilla movies than it was to get Ultraman when I was a kid, and I knew about Ultraman, but I could never watch any of his shows, and so with all the superhero Power Rangers ish stuff, I grew up on other shows But Ultraman just always escaped me. So I know a lot of like really weird, um, like Metal Hero series from the '80s that I just grew up with when I was a kid in Brazil. But I don't know Ultraman, which is much more well known, much more popular, and I don't know how that happened. But that's so. I don't have the nostalgia bomb for Ultraman as I
Right.
think a lot of people do. And I do know now that's all changed. Many of the Ultraman series are available on Crunchyroll for free. Um, and this is a huge shift from what I remember, at least like 10, 11 years ago, where it was hard as fuck to find any of the shows. You can watch whole series on Crunchyroll now.
Oh, that's
So I'd say
that's a good plug.
I know you love this short, so like I say our next show that we cover,
Yeah.
let's just do 50 episodes of like Ultraman
I think I
Tiga.
gotta go on another road trip, man. I think I'm just gonna drive across the country just again. Sorry, man. Feels bad.
I've got to leave you this time.
Do you remember the scene in this when like the Ultraman looking guy came down and then he like had like a mask on and he took it off to reveal another Ultra looking man guy?
Yeah, and
Like
having never
what?
read the comic, I had no idea what was going on with that.
God, like that was, and then there's that one battle when he like drew his thing. He's like, "Oh, you missed your shot," and he's like, "No, because it's coming back on the rickshaw." It is. This is as like retro classic whatever stuff as you can possibly get. So much that within 7 minutes, I like was done.
Yeah, I mean, there was even a short monster transformation sequence. There was the I threw my weapon past you and it
Right.
boomeranged back.
That's the like the you missed your shot, and then it boomerangs back. Like that's what I was talking about.
And there was even the you may have defeated me, but you should spare me. But I'm going to blow you up when you take this chance to hear my plea.
Yeah, and then
I,
they like
even though I didn't watch it with you, I heard you groan during
you're
this
like,
episode.
I
I
know
was
at
just
this moment he's groaning or asleep. And then
yeah,
like there's also like all of the other Ultramen came and they shot their little laser beams into the guy and then he like got really big and exploded, which is like my sexual innuendo for like this short. I found it, I did it team. But
yeah.
yeah.
Well, they all use their signature moves. Yeah.
Right, they all their signature moves, right. They all look exactly the same. Like
No, they're
signature.
very
They
different.
shoot the
There's the
same freaking
Strontium ray.
beam. It's like a storm earth fire heart, but like you're still shooting beams out of fucking rings. Like it's the same. It's the same sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. What I was confused by too is I didn't understand how the Jackals took over the Earth. Like they kidnapped an Ultraman who wasn't transformed, and then they suddenly the narrator announced that and then Earth was taken over. I was like, wow, that fucking went down quick.
Right.
It's like,
Sort of like
especially with
that
like,
peacetime. And the
yeah.
fighting that also happened pretty quick.
So what I think actually is having not read any of the manga, I think these Ultramen are just really bad at historical narratives. They're just terrible at
Yeah,
it.
and they just don't
They
have
just
timelines. They really don't even know who each other are. That's why like they all wear the same outfit, so that if they mistake someone else for like some like one Ultraman for another Ultraman, oh sorry, it's that one piece of armor just threw me off. It's like yeah, you all
yeah.
look the freaking same,
Except there's one with a beard and there's one girl.
right? And then there's a guy with a mask that removes it and shows himself, and then
Yeah,
that's
who I actually thought was the one who came back at the end, but that was Zoffy and not
I
Melos.
think
Melos was the one who got blown
you've
up.
read the
Zoffy,
names. I think at that
yeah,
point I even stopped thinking. Like it wasn't
yeah,
even.
and that's where I got really confused because I thought Zoffy was he was in his human form. So I feel like we skipped a lot.
Yeah. Maybe if we watched the full series on Crunchyroll, we would understand this more. Hashtag plug, even though they don't sponsor us. I don't know why they're why I'm plugging
Yeah,
them. But
yeah, or the manga because what I'm thinking too is the show might not even be like this because like I don't remember that first fight. I sort of remember from the
they did
show,
a
but
short and they expect us to read a motherfucking book.
yeah,
Um,
I mean, I really
there are
think
pictures.
this is really for like the old fans and the people who grew up reading the manga, and I think that's who it's
Yeah,
for.
that's my same conclusion. And since I'm
Yeah,
not that audience, I
yeah. Yeah, which seems to be a cool theme with the shorts. I mean, again, a lot of them miss me by miles, but I still like how each short really does feel like not just like a signature for that person who's doing it, but also I don't know. It really feels like they Studio Kara and Anno are just basically like this is all the shit we love,
Right. It's
and
like a
uh,
by fans for fans sort of thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and I think that can work. I mean, obviously, it's really exciting when everybody knows what the hell they're talking about, and then of course, like this, we're international fans. We're definitely not the audience
Right.
for this. And I mean, the manga, I could barely find any information about it. I mean, like barely. Like I think the guy's name is basically what I know about it. I found like a couple of covers, and it's just like where would I don't even what where would this so there's just no way of I mean maybe if that series is somehow available somewhere you know but and then there's like 50 plus years of Ultraman stuff. So, so that's really cool for the people who love it. And I guess in the same vein, the previous short we did, the Bureau of Proto Society, that had a lot of shout outs to Western cinema.
And I
So
enjoyed it a lot more. Fancy that.
exactly, yeah, I love that one. That was fuck yeah, that was right up my alley.
And Endless Night had a lot of shout outs to skating and songs. And who knows what Boo Boo and Boobalino was about?
I was about to say Endless Night was skating.
Right. It was like shouting out to
Yeah.
like all the skaters.
Boo Boo and Boobalina was just um, drugs.
Yeah, may
Yeah.
have been high at the time. But yeah, I mean, so
That,
that's pretty much it. It was entertaining. Well, for me, in a sense of mockery. But if you like Ultraman at all, I think you'll find that you'll appreciate this.
yeah, and at the very least, if you don't know anything about Ultraman, hopefully, like I really enjoyed the animation and the look. So even
If
if
you're into
you,
that classic stuff.
yeah, and if you're into that, and if they had really sweet explosions, so
Yeah,
and
for
lasers,
like retro back in the whatever. Like,
yeah, I
if
mean,
you were to
and
compare
really cool
that,
lasers.
those explosions and Hammerhead's explosions, I'm gonna go with Hammerhead.
True, yeah, true.
Unless you're into that retro shit.
Yeah, yeah, and the Rich they did it perfectly.
Yeah,
So
yeah. They executed what they were trying to do extremely well.
yeah.
All right.
So next time we're doing Girl, and actually a quick idea to run by you. Since I feel like we're going to talk about it a lot, do you also want to do talk about me too? Uh,
Um. Well, they are. I would say we just talk about how they're related, or do you want to just do? We'll figure.
yeah, yeah, we'll figure it out. But
Girl
so
is related to a sort of music video thing called Me Me Me.
yeah, same director, and Me is actually no longer available on the streaming site. It is, I think it's all over the
Yeah,
YouTube.
if you're crafty with that, which we call the internet, you'll be able to find it.
You'll be able to find
Yeah.
it, and so we'll do that next. So we'll catch you all
All
then.
right. Later.